No new licenses for logging companies.
Permits must go to Landowner Company.
Controller calls for voluntary vaccination. And Landowner Company supports local team.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Wednesday's news. Prime Minister James Marape made a strong statement on taking back the country's forestry sector from the hands of corrupt dealers. Speaking at the launch of the 10-year corporate plan for the PNG Forest Authority, the Prime Minister said it is time the sector is put on the right path. He was critical of foreign logging companies, saying no new licenses will be issued.
Speaking during the launching of PNG Forest Authority's corporate plan, Prime Minister James Marape says no new licenses are to be issued to current logging companies without proper downstream processing plan.
No more new permits to foreign companies. Those already in our country, work with them in as far as the focus on downstream is concerned. New run log permits must go to landowner companies only. But they have limitations also. Landowner companies who pick up license today, the terminations for run log export must take place in the end termination of this corporate plan.
PM Marape says whilst there have been benefits, there was a shift of focus from the previous government. He says the previous government was not focused on adding value to the economy as far as resource harvest was concerned.
Abandon the focus on 2020 downstream, inconclusive view on when downstream policy will be fully effected in our country.
PM Marape added that he is keen to be part of the forestry sector for the next 10 years.
Rally our efforts together into our corporate plan and into the other subsidiary plans that will ensure that we maximize earning from our resources, but more importantly, it is maximized within the context of sustainability and preservation for the benefit of generations who will come after us long when you and me are gone from these designations that we occupy.
Porivai, National EMTV News.
Minister for Forests and Namatana MP Walter Schnobelt has responded to landowner issues raised over the past week regarding alleged illegal logging operations in Gulf and Central provinces. Also speaking at the launch of the 10-year corporate plan for the Forestry Authority, the minister said there are internal matters to be sorted out first. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said the government will focus on downstream processing in the forestry sector.
Prime Minister James Marape, in launching the PNG Forest Authority's future plan yesterday, said he and his government are committed to ensure a better future for the country's forestry sector. But this comes amidst numerous issues regarding landowner benefits in logging project areas.
And for this occasion, we have the honor to carve out the future of the forestry sector into the path in which we must travel on, taking back the forestry sector from the hands of complacency, from the hands of corruption, perpetrated or real, taking it back from the hands of recklessness, taking it back from the hands of deprivation of our people in benefits.
Last weekend, landowners in the Kikori-Baimuru area of Gulf Province aired their concerns over their promised benefits under previous foreign logging operator Turama Forest Industries. They want the National Forest Authority to remove permit license from TFI and have it reissued to local logging company Kikori Forest Management Limited, as they claim they have been ripped off and so want to do the logging themselves.
In this timber permit, Turama has few projects stipulated as the state Turama's the contract obligations, timber permit obligations. Turama operated for almost 63 years in Gulf Province, almost 37 years in Turama TRP, and 26 years in 3FM areas. 63 years in Gulf. Within that duration, there's nothing to show for.
Turama owing me. Promise lo me no come up. Malkia money me papa ground. Papa blow DY.
TFI have denied our rights, so me like him TFI go. So me by need him, or me like him, me play it by walking timber. Kikori forest by making.
Suppose me go operate the foreign countries like China where Malaysia is. Suppose me no got permit by me operate.
In a similar affair, Malaysian-owned logging operator Kinmas has been operating in the Abau and Rigo districts of Central Province for over a decade now, with logs exported through Abau district centre Kupiano. Landowners are now unhappy over their operations, in which they have claimed very little development is seen, thus failing to fulfill agreement. Kinmas' operating license has also expired.
Now that agreement stands with the landowners. We're just trying to find a way to making sure that Kinmas, who are operating down there, to leave that place, because the permit, Oyapura permit, timber permit, LFA has been lapsed.
And why is Kinmas operating down in Kupion? There's also trying to bring another case because my father, Bakeleba, Kinmas has promised to pay 35 million. He haven't paid. And on top of that, 2011 to 2021, now it's 10 years operation. The permit is not be paid.
In charting the way forward for PNG's forestry sector, Minister for Forests Walter Schnobelt responded to some of the concerns raised by the landowners.
Some companies that are, could be operating illegally, and we will look into those matters as soon as possible. Once we've get our internal affairs sorted out, we will get there eventually, because we would like to see the industry participate fairly, where both the operator, developer, the landowners and the country benefits from such operations.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
The Commissioner of Police and Controller of the PNG COVID-19 National Pandemic Response, David Manning, has called on citizens to come forward and get the COVID-19 vaccine. Mr. Manning called on citizens not to be complacent against COVID-19. He said the vaccine can provide cover against the virus, therefore citizens must voluntarily submit for vaccination. To date, the country has recorded 17,774 COVID-19 cases and 192 known deaths. All 22 provinces, including the autonomous region of Bougainville, have reported cases. Morobe Governor Ginton Sanu has claimed he wasn't aware that funds allocated to build a 4-in-1 double classroom at Lays Huonville Primary School was not used by the contractor. In 2019, the Morobe provincial government gave 500,000 kina to the Provincial Works Department for the construction of a new classroom to replace an old building. The contractor who was awarded the job is yet to complete the 4-in-1 double classroom.
Meeting also building is unfinished na mi ready lang iko cutting ribbon, but I'm a good player and a new player. Story me harim. So me must check him one time works division long here or through long administrator na ba me come back long you long this player. Me think money go na me thinking long me go na cutting ribbon, but this is one of those some paper companies or kissing money na finishing work.
UNICEF PNG and the National Office of Child and Family Services, or OCFS, have condemned the use of social media to disseminate heinous acts of violence and abuse upon children by adults. OCSF Director Simon Yane said online images are almost impossible for local authorities to retrieve, thereby eternalizing a child's distress. In a joint statement, both OCFS and UNICEF PNG highlighted the importance of child protection rights as enshrined in the Lukautim Pikinini Act 2015 and the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or CRC, saying that filming and sharing images of child violence and abuse online constitutes a serious violation of the child's rights. Mr. Yani stated that it is time for Papua New Guinea to review the legal framework to ensure that it is abreast with the fast-developing IT industry. Both UNICEF and OCSF will continue to stand by the government to strengthen measures to address this risk. National EMTV News continues with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. The deteriorating road condition into Gaira village will be addressed soon. Karukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo says an engineer has been tasked to get a scope of its maintenance. This part of the road has been in declining condition during wet weather.
If you travel the Maggie Highway, the road into Gaira village will be an obvious sin. It's a stretch of road any driver will never want to pass through during rainy days. Locals have been calling on the government to fix this road.
Like our road here, the last time I visited my good councillor and brother, he made a mention. He called me up one night, so I drove through. Then when I consulted, I was told that the machines at the Bautama will be sent down. So I had to sit back and wait.
Visiting Gaira village recently, the Karuguri MP said work is soon to begin. He says improving services is not easy. Isoaimo says maintenance work will be guided by initial scoping for relevant funding allocation.
At least so he can give us a scope as to how much it would cost, at least to repair and do up our road. I am not an engineer. I need an expert technical advice to spend your money. I cannot spend your limited monies unnecessarily everywhere and anywhere.
Expressing the limited funding for the Karukuhiri district, the local MP says the fact that the district is huge, services had to be thinly spread across communities. Isoaimo says funding continues to be an obstacle to deliver better services.
Funding is the biggest issue we have also for our electorate. Politics is such that when you are in government, they pay you your DSIP. When you're sitting on the opposite side, they'll feed you drips and drops.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Environment, Conservation and Climate Change Minister Wera Mori is calling on the Works Minister to consider putting up a weighing station for big trucks. Minister Mori made this statement recently in Kundiawa town after hearing the grievances of the Chimbu people. They said continuous movement of heavy truckloads on the Okuk Highway has caused damage to their land.
Minister Mori said there must be a weighing station so that big trucks do not carry loads that exceed their maximum limit. Mori said Chimbu people are faced with heavy movement of vehicles up and down the highway, and as a result, it creates faults and they lose their land. An immediate effort is to acquire land outside of the 40-meter corridor to address the actual problem.
We have got to lower the water table so that the water can run its natural course and protect the land and avoid our land from being moving. Because every time when that is not happening, every loads go up and down the highway, you can feel the movement, you can feel, and it's just triggering of those old pre-existing faults.
Minister Mori said the destabilization of roads in Chimbu and parts of PNG are a direct effect of climate change. He encouraged Papua New Guineans to be responsible citizens and plant trees and mangroves and create an organic wealth. Mori is also appealing to the national government to create a special economic zone in Chimbu to compensate them for losing their land to other economic activities that he claimed will benefit people in the Upper Highlands provinces.
And I'd like to assure you, I'm going to write to the Prime Minister to make sure that that is factored in with the Department of Commerce so that we can convert Kundiawa into a town where we will have large industries.
Minister Mori said as the minister responsible, he will play his part to address climate change at the village level up to the international stage. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Lae City Authority has supported the St. John Ambulance Service with 250,000 kina. St. John Momasa Regional Commander Chief Superintendent Anderson Pom said the funding will be prioritized in the area of recruitment. This funding is LCA's second to St. John, following an initial funding of 100,000 kina in May.
St. John Ambulance Momasa Regional Commander Chief Superintendent Anderson Pom received a check of 250,000 kina yesterday from Lae MP John Rosso. This is LCA's second funding to St. John. The first funding was 100,000 kina, which was given 2 months ago. The Momasa St. John boss said the funding would be used to recruit more staff. He is currently operating with 3 staff.
Now it will be like, that's for lay operations, so the management now will look at ways of like additional manpower or something like that to, beef up the operation here in Lae.
The St. John Ambulance Service started operations early this year in Lae. The service is limited to Lae, however, the team has also attended to cases in other districts. The ambulance service has attended to 71 cases so far. Common cases involve maternity complications. Chief Superintendent Pom has called for support from MPs of district outside Lae, saying it would extend the ambulance service to areas outside the Lae district.
We went as far as Arab, and that's part of one Gulf, I believe, and then we went as far as Bololo, not really Bololo, but somewhere along the way. Yeah, there was an MVA, so yeah, we did some of these cases. As far as Najab, we had some case from Garina with mothers with retained placenta and all this.
Lae MP John Rosso said LCA's support is in recognition of the life-saving service that St. John provides, and it is a holistic approach to improving healthcare within Lae.
Our ambulance services have not been up to par. Our people deserve the best medical services that we can provide, and having St. John partnering with them and coming into Lae and doing it in a very professional way is the way to go.
The St. John ambulance team is currently operating with a fully kitted bus as an ambulance and a Land Cruiser for administration runs. The Momasa Regional Commander said the team needs a Land Cruiser, fully kitted as an ambulance, to suit the road conditions, especially when attending to cases outside of Lae. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News, Lae.
Communities in Pins in the Lower Mendi area will now benefit from a refurbished health facility. The Pins Aid Post has been upgraded to a sub-health centre. Southern Highlands Governor William Poe says despite budget constraints, the provincial administration is pushing to enable basic health care to reach communities.
For years, communities in Pins were denied from basic services supposed to be provided by levels of government. Under the health sector, a funding of $500,000 was allocated to upgrade the Pins Health Aid Post. People in this part of Southern Highlands will now access health services at the doorstep.
So I will present a vehicle. We will present him this building. Now you walk from Karim or walkman Mary come. If you like sleep in some man Mary land up do so, but operate in one facility, yeah. That's the way you remember walking.
While focus that day was held, road rehabilitation project in the Lower Mendi area is another major project. A funding of about 6 million kina has been allocated to improve road network in the area. This is from Sunia to Pins and Muniu Station. Governor Poe says these are vital services the government has prioritized.
This is the health center where Provincial Health Authority must recognize him. DDA, you work in one health facility, you must do it in partnership consultation with the Southern Highlands Provincial Government.
The political head of the province says similar projects are implemented in LLGs around the province. Locals have welcomed this infrastructure.
And we are now witnessing the launching and opening. And this occasion gives me great pleasure to officially open the Pins Health Center in Imbongu electorate of Southern Highlands bordering Mendimon Hill.
Jack Lopawe Jr., National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775 US, $0.3726 Australian dollars, $0.3951 New Zealand dollars, and 29.83 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa and copra closed higher. Palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the Ordinaries is trading lower.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Landowner Company Kikori Oil Investment Limited has put their support behind digital franchise team Gulf ISO, coming on board as bronze sponsors with a package worth 75,000 kina.
The participation of Gulf Province franchises in the National Soccer League and Digital Cup competitions have been made possible by the Gulf Province Sports Trust. The trust provides a pathway for sporting talent from the province to excel on the national stage. In support of the work done by the Sports Trust, local landowner company Kikori Oil Investment has thrown its support behind the Gulf ISO franchise team who participate in the Digital Cup. KOI have come on board as a bronze sponsor with a package worth 75,000 kina.
And it's a new relationship between the Gulf Sports Trust and the Kikori Oil Investment. Gulf ISO is one of the products of the Gulf Sports Trust, and Gulf Komara is the other product of the Gulf Sports Trust. I think we've been in it for the last 3 years. And I've been at it as the chairman of the trust, and we have those two franchises featured in the national competitions, both in soccer and also in rugby league.
KOI wishes to lift their profile in the province while supporting the Gulf ISO franchise team, using sport as a tool for development.
Now that we want to come out and do some work around in the province, I think best way and best approach we were looking at is going into as been Gulf. Kikori has been like in the left on the other side of the province, in the western side of the province. So we just thought that we should come together with the rest of the province and come to this kind of sponsoring and doing this kind of activities with the rest of the province. And then the way that we will look as we're a part of the Gulf province. And what's happening around in the Gulf province, we want to be involved in terms of sports or business. I think that's our main aim and doing sponsors like this.
Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. There were the details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight in the southern region. Partly cloudy with chances of light showers and drizzles in Port Moresby and Popondetta. Mostly fine and windy in Daru. Cloudy with a few showers in Kerema and mostly fine weather, although partly cloudy in some areas in Alotau. In the Mamase region, a few showers with possible thunderstorms in Lae, some rain showers in Wau, partly cloudy with a few showers in Medang and Wewak, and cloudy periods with some showers in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with a few showers in Lorengau, a few showers with possible thunderstorms in Kavieng, few showers with possible thunderstorms as well in Kokopo and Rabaul, and cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms in Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, partly cloudy with some showers in Mount Hagen, cloudy with some showers in Mendi and Wabeg, and cloudy with some showers as well in Goroka and Kundiala.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Wednesday, the 4th of August, 2021. On behalf of the news team, have a pleasant night. Bye for now.